Old timeless story. Throw it back to Adam and Eve, doing everything they ain't supposed to, picking apples from the wrong damn tree. Don't know how it got planted in my head. Must have been something somebody said about rules, how they're meant to be broken. Sorry to the suckers who don't know that. Every punch needs a spike. Every spoonful of sugar needs spice. Every roof needs somebody jumping off it. It ain't fun till it comes, try to stop it. Every hand needs a cup. Everybody in this backyard needs a buzz. And if you wanna party, you're gonna need me. Every good time starts with the bad seed. You can go ahead and call your neighbors, might wanna apologize in advance. You can bet that sooner or later they're gonna be hopping the fence. Don't need to carry on the conversation, got people talking about my reputation. You won't remember how your night went, but you're gonna remember who got it going. Every punch needs a spike. Every spoonful of sugar needs spice. Every roof needs somebody jumping off it. It ain't fun till it comes, try to stop it. Every hand needs a cup. Everybody in this backyard needs a buzz. And if you wanna party, you're gonna need me. Every good time starts with the bad seed. Everybody needs a party, every party needs somebody to get it started. Yeah, everybody needs a party, every party needs somebody to get it started. Every punch needs a spike. Every spoonful of sugar needs spice. Every roof needs somebody jumping off it. It ain't fun till the cops try to stop it. Every punch needs a spike. Every spoonful of sugar needs spice. Every roof needs somebody jumping off it. It ain't fun till the cops try to stop it. Every hand needs a cup. Everybody It's an age-old timeless story. Throw it back to Adam and Eve, doing everything they ain't supposed to, picking apples from the wrong damn tree. Don't know how it got planted in my head. Must have been something somebody said about rules, how they're meant to be broken. Sorry to the suckers who don't know that. Every punch needs a spike. Every spoonful of sugar needs spice. Every roof needs somebody jumping off it. It ain't fun till the cops try to stop it. Every hand needs a cup. Everybody in this backyard needs a buzz. And if you wanna party, you're gonna need me. Every good time starts with the bad seed. You can go ahead and call your neighbors. Might wanna apologize in advance. You can bet that sooner or later they're gonna be hopping the fence. Don't need to carry on the conversation. Yeah, people talking about my reputation. You won't remember how your night went, but you gotta remember who got it going. Every punch needs a spike. Every spoonful of sugar needs spice. Every roof needs somebody jumping off it. It ain't fun till the cops try to stop it. Every hand needs a cup. Everybody in this backyard needs a buzz. And if you wanna party, you're gonna need me. Every good time starts with the bad seed. Everybody needs a party, every party needs somebody to get it started. Yeah, everybody needs a party, every party needs somebody to get it started. Every punch needs a spike. Every spoonful of sugar needs spice. Every roof needs somebody jumping off it. It ain't fun till the cops try to stop it. Every punch needs a spike. Every spoonful of sugar needs spice. Every roof needs somebody jumping off it. It ain't fun till the cops try to stop it. Every hand needs a cup. Everybody in this backyard needs a buzz. And if you wanna party, you're gonna need me. If you wanna party, if you wanna party, you're gonna need me. Every good time starts with the best seed. If you wanna party, if you wanna party, you're gonna need me. If you wanna party, if you wanna party, if you wanna party, you're gonna need me.